What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into more comments. I appreciate the patience. I know I'm way behind once again, but this trip has been super fun. And for anybody celebrating Father's Day today, I want to wish you a happy Father's Day because that is the day that I'm recording this on. And let's go ahead and dive in. So first things first, Tim Knight saying, loved it. They should have a ghost tourney every week, a different league level each week with entry fee and regular prizes. I would love for them to have regular ghost tournaments or ghost card tournaments. I don't understand why they don't and charge a fee. I would totally participate in it. I think charging 1,000 DEC or even 2,000 DEC is reasonable. You can have half the DEC get burned and the rest of it go out as prizes. Like that to me has a lot of value, right? Like it's fun. It's something to participate in. I don't think that I'll win, but I would participate and I'd feel much more comfortable participating because I would feel like at least I'd be on an even level with everybody else. I'd have access to everything else, even if I didn't have the skill set. Tim Knight says, Ghosts can be single sets too, only Untamed or Beta, for example. That could be interesting also. I would love to see that. Mike Knight says, if you're not playing Illuvium, you're missing out on a huge opportunity. It seems like it. You are not the first person to say that, so I will have to make sure I check that out as soon as I get back home. All right, so Firebolt says, wild comment incoming. Yabamat brings out Plan Z, customizable land, buildings, and with new tab to plan a team raid on another region for guild power, glint merits. Nate brings out the pirate goblins who every 4 hours they randomly steal and burn land resources from land and grain and research and SPS. Okay, I mean, that's interesting. I would love for them to do like literally anything with land to make it more interesting. Right now, it's just an idle clicker, which maybe that was the design, but I just think it could be so much more. But then again, everything that they want to add to it is only going to take more and more resources from the team over time, which they do not have. And I still maintain, as much as I want to see more stuff with land, I still maintain that the card game is the heart of Splinterlands, the TCG. All right, so Mondroid says, the solution is to prioritize the strongest cards in packs, the ones that most likely become meta, then make reward cards niche where they are good sometimes but not all the time. Imagine if Izzyar, Kulu, Mastermind, Fungus Flinger, Markstrat were Rebellion. Suddenly you can't really ignore Rebellion anymore. Instead, Rebellion cards are pretty niche and underpowered outside of the obviously broken ones. You know, I mean, I don't disagree with you, Mondroid. The difficulty is, unless you have a really extensive testing for like the meta, you don't really know which cards are going to hit. You don't know which combos are going to pop up. You know, I'm sure Call Me Tim tries to think through as much as possible. The team goes through their testing with it, but it's kind of tough. And you have to also think about the fact that like the Soulbound reward cards that were for Soulbound reward cards, the first set, those were probably designed in like the second half of 2022. They launched in January of 2023. Then you had Rebellion come out at the end of 2023. Those were probably, you know, designed throughout the 2023 year. And now we're just getting to the Rebellion reward cards where those are probably still being in design, but I'm sure that they weren't being designed at the same time Rebellion was. You get what I'm saying? My whole point is that it's tough unless you like know that like, hey, this card's just going to be trash and it's only going to be good for like certain rule sets, so save it for reward cards. Maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't, but you know, I think they try to balance and give value to each card in different ways. International Travel Channel, thank you for the comment here. Manfred Hem says, how do they help onboarding and retaining new players? This is the reward cards are a long-term problem. I don't know if you were referring to the video itself, but they are working on a new tutorial system to help the onboarding process. The retaining new players is twofold. I think you need a good onboarding experience, but to retain new players, I think the earnings need to be there. And at the very, very least, if not earnings, like the asset value needs to hold significantly well. And we just have not seen that. All right, so Siab says, the set of Soulbound reward cards are leaving Modern very soon. How come they should be priced similar to Rebellion cards? A better comparison is the Untamed Dice cards. I don't think that they're leaving Modern very soon. I think that they have at least 9 months to a year, which, again, here's the thing. We've had the chance to play with them for a year and a half, 18 months already. These cards are 18 months old. you've been able to play with them. Now, granted, did you have max copies? No, but that was the whole point, that you should be able to, earn as you go along, and the higher up you are, the faster you're able to max stuff out. But I don't like them leaving Modern League soon, meaning that they rotate out, as being something that makes them cheaper or not comparable to Rebellion. At the end of the day, how much does it cost to bring a card into existence and create card inflation? That's the kind of burn value we should be looking at, and adding value back into the ecosystem. All right, Pomp says Soulbound cards are playable but not tradable, so you can still earn with them. Make them tradable but not playable. To earn, you have to unlock them. See, I think people would flip out with that. Like, as it is, it's just like, oh, so now I'm going to be rewarded things that I can't use. And in order to use them, I have to pay you. Like, literally, that's going to be the argument. And I wouldn't have a good counter for that, because it's kind of in line with a lot of what people are saying now, right? The team just keeps increasing costs. I like it the way that it is, where you get these cards, you can earn with them, but you can't trade them, right? Like, they have value to you as a player, but not as an investment or whatever. But I think if they do become tradable right away, unless the burn or unlock fee is significant, they just get dumped on the market floor by bots. And maybe there's not as many bot farms as there are now. But if things do pick up again, I think the bot farmers will come back, and they will pay the fee to run in wild, and it could be a glorious cycle for a hot minute. Who knows how long that'll last? All right, so Boom says, why don't you ask the Splendors devs themselves? They run bot farms too. Well, there's at least one person that does. I suppose we could ask them, but I mean, I don't know. Where do we go? Post it in the town hall chat. See what happens. All right. So SharpVid YouTube says, I don't get it. Bot farms go so the value of cards tank. Can't see enough real users buying enough cards to reverse that. Killing the bots also kills the game. If they made an enjoyable version of the game and got lots of real players first, it might make sense. Now it feels like they're destroying the roots of the game, where there's nothing above the ground. So here's the thing. A lot of people. Sorry, I shouldn't say a lot of people, because I don't know. But there is a sentiment going around that we almost need a hard reset, in the sense where it's just like, if bots get driven out of the game and we really get down to just a couple thousand players, then at least we can start building something from scratch, knowing that everything is authentic, knowing that growth is real and nothing's getting exploited, and the people who enjoy the game for the game itself are here buying up assets, building up their decks over time. That being said, keep in mind, I don't have the exact numbers with me, but even for Chaos Legion, right? And actually, here, let's do something insane. I think there were 8 million BCX for the Pellicors, right? So 8 million divided by 400. 20,000, right? 20,000 accounts can have a max Pellicor, Pellicor Bandit, for example. And it's not even that anymore. It's significantly less, because we've burned a lot of those reward cards. So the reward set that has been massively overprinted, and I'm not even talking about the core set, I'm talking about the rewards, even that would not be able to sustain like 20,000 players. Now, lower than that, I believe the core set, at least with the cards that are open now, is like 1/3 of it. Or sorry, not 1/3 of it, like maybe 1/8 of it or something like that. We'll just say 25%. Even if it's 25%, 5,000 players. And this is where it gets interesting, right? If the team is able to bring in people who are of a similar mind to the folks that are still here, cheering this game on, wanting it to succeed, and buying into the vision, 5,000 people is not very much. And that eats through the biggest mistake that we've ever had in terms of the core set, right? It doesn't necessarily eat through the reward cards, but I do think that the reward cards all end up on land at some point. So, that being said, there is a lot of opportunity there if you remove the bots and get highly incentivized real players to come in. That is the gambit that the team is running right now. It is a 3 to 6 month process before we'll actually even see if all the stuff that they're prepping for will come to fruition, before they can even start to try to pull players in. But it's a waiting game at this point, which crypto kind of is. All right, so Shopboy says, and the reward cards are a problem. Short answer, no. Long answer, very long. Okay, I'm going to skim through this. Once again, the problem is bot farms, nothing else. Even if we allow bots, they shouldn't be allowed to earn any. earn cards or anything that can be converted directly into cards. Glint. So reward cards, Soulbound. Okay. As for the absurd unlock cost, there's no way something like 18x will ever work. They might as well be permanently locked if that's the case. A single copy of a legendary 18x would cost 9,000 DEC to lock. Let's say, I mean, that's the numbers I was running, right? But here's the thing, that's $9 per BCX. That's comparable with where Rebellion is at right now, and I think that's what we're shooting for. First, I paid 9,000 DEC. Next, I have to go think for how much I want to sell it. With that fee, there's a 6% fee if you sell it for 10,000. This is what I'm saying. Unless the demand is there, people will not unlock it. And I know people look at this. A lot of players or investors will look at this and say, "Well, I earned those cards. I should have the right to, I should have the right to unlock them and sell them on the market." Well, sure, like you can unlock them. There's a fee. But that fee is going to very much determine the value. Like, this is what I'm trying to get at here. Okay, so let's say they didn't put an unlock fee, right? Let's say everything just unlocked. With everything that was printed, would you, like, what value would it be to you if you could just go and everybody else, like all the bot farms, start to dump it on the marketplace, and now you're selling it for 50 cents, all right? Like a Kulu Mastermind. If you were just going to sell that for 50 cents. Now, maybe that has some value to you, right? Maybe you accumulated a lot of them. But I still think that it should be demand driven, and that is the direction that they're moving. I talked about the seller's perspective. What about the buyers? Sure, you can argue that people will just have to sell these cards for more, but why would anyone spend 10,000 DEC or more on cards that will likely rotate out of Modern in 6 to 12 months when most Rebellion legendaries go for less than that? SER might be better for them. Okay, so what's interesting about this is there are still people who are buying up a lot of wild cards, and I made a video about this the other day, and I am very serious. I am looking at cards in Wild because I think Wild is going to be where I stay for the foreseeable future. I cannot justify spending another, I mean, it keeps coming down, but like anywhere from like $5,000 to $6,000 on Rebellion when I can get the same value playing in Wild, enjoy the game with the cards that I have, earn SPS, earn vouchers, and earn enough that I can cover my costs and still walk away with some ice cream money. So I don't like from a buyer's perspective, spending $9 on a card that can be valuable, like an Iziar, I think is not a bad thing. All right, so Asmon says, final bot consolidation sounds like a new Star Wars title. Oh, let's not talk Star Wars. Shots fired. All right, so Asmon says, I said it'll be under 5K accounts in Wild when Matt said that will change. Well, hey, so far, the video that I just put out earlier tonight was, I think we have like 2,500 accounts, maybe under 3,000 accounts so far, but we're only 2 days in. No Rhaegar says, suppose you buy a card for $5 while DEC is 80% of PEG. It'll cost you $62.50 DEC. Now suppose DEC goes back to PEG and you're looking to sell that card. To get your $62.50 DEC back, you'll need to sell it for $625. Instead, if you held the DEC, it would now be worth $625 and you would have made a profit. If you think DEC is going to go up, it's better just to hold DEC. Well, that's a good way to look at it. But a lot of people like to play the card or the market game, I should say, when it comes to cards. All right, Supreme Victory Studios, I think the team should sell the game. I don't think that they will. It sounds as though, at least from what Matt has been saying, they don't want to give up equity, so selling the games would be like all of it at that point. Although, it would be interesting if there was some kind of, I don't know, and obviously this is a dream scenario. I shouldn't even say dream. It's a hypothetical scenario of some massive gaming studio coming in, scooping this up, and giving Matt the funds, like being all hands off and giving Matt the funds to be like, yo, make the game that you want to make, hire as many people that you want, here's a blank check. That would be fantastic. Will that happen? I don't think so. Is that happening with a lot of other projects? Potentially, right? But I don't know that Splinterlands is on the right blockchain or has the right, the user base or whatever it is, or maybe isn't hot and new and sexy like a bunch of other projects. I still hope that it could, but I'm not holding my breath. All right, so Ardnex says getting rid of legendary reward cards is a bad idea. That's what made rewards fun. It would take away from the player experience. Why even play if I can't get a legendary card? How boring does that sound? I would say that adding summoners as a rewards was a mistake, which was done with Soulbound rewards. Yeah, not only was adding summoners a mistake, but then adding them where they could bring in gladiators was really rough for a time in Wild. or even modern, right? It's just silver. If you remember, bronze and silver is just dominated by gladiators. Yeah, look, getting rid of legendary rewards, I didn't think, even though I said it out loud, I wasn't saying that that was a good idea. I was just saying it as an idea for how to get my point across, where reward cards being super OP and part of the meta or meta defining, I do believe is a problem. And I don't know what the right way to address it is. I think a lot of people have given some suggestions here. Maybe we just stick with it and have a high unlock fee. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But at the end of the day, if the team's success depends on how many people buy packs, then the best stuff should be in packs. All right, so Crypto Beaver says, we need a way to promote card ownership. So a suggestion could be that card ownership will be taken into consideration for your glint boost in ranked battles using your collection power. Okay. Also, I still think we need a card burning event to reduce inventory besides ongoing burning cards for glint. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what that would entail anymore. I think the team has given out so many rewards at this point that it doesn't really matter. I don't think people are incentivized by rewards. At least I know I'm not, right, in order to participate. It would be cool for them to do something else with it. I don't know what, but giving out more packs and titles and land, that's not it. I'll have to think through. Our crypto viewer also says, I agree that there should be cost to unlock, but 17x seems expensive unless we could use vouchers to cut that cost in half. Another way to unlock could be unlock one card by burning a second one of the same with a smaller fee in SPS. You know what's interesting? So I had the chance to meet up with Tails recently, and we were talking about like radical ideas. So I'll give a shout out to Tails and give him the credit here, because we were thinking there's got to be a way in which we could do two things in one, where you burn, like, I know DEC, I've said this before, DEC will take care of itself, and I maintain that it will. I think that this is an opportunity with this upcoming Soulbound unlocks to use SPS directly. Now, this won't be a long-term thing in the future. There'll be like the 17x, whatever. But at this point, I think there's an option for us, and maybe I'll make a video on this too, just to talk through it a little bit more specifically. But essentially having it be where, I don't know what the predetermined prices will be. I think Matt will have to do some math behind that. But it could be an awesome event for the DAO where we use SPS. We unlock with SPS. We load up the DAO. It gives SPS direct utility. So we load up the DAO with SPS, and that's how people unlock their cards. Again, these are short-term solutions. They're Band-Aids, but I think that they're essential Band-Aids because we need to clean up the SPS supply. SPS inflation is already high, but so is the SPS supply out there. And so by doing that, I think we can raise the floor of SPS, which is good, right? As distribution starts to slow down, which is good also, right? We've cut off some of the faucets and things are getting less and less, but I don't know. That's just a random thought to your question. Sorry, it's late. All right, so Cold Ass says, didn't even realize it. Oh, about the tournament. Sorry, missed it. Aaron says, maybe Killer Whales is bringing in new people. I don't think so. We've looked at the numbers. It doesn't seem like it. Lord Kagor says, just put CP requirement for non-reward cards and all will be solved. Market competition on scarcity. CP requirement for non-reward cards. Okay. Reward cards are fun. It should be used freely, but glint and... I mean, I'm okay. I'm open with that too, but I think they have it already written that way, and I don't know how much code it would take to flip it around the other way. All right, so Asman says first, thank you so much for the comment. Erroneous says, but what if it weren't? Okay, so card values are meant to go down over time. Oh, so this was the... Whoa, all right, there's a lot here. So this was the video that I talked about, like... pretty much every TCG, the card values don't go up over time, right? They tend to go down unless a card is super meta or super rare. Aaron says, but what if they weren't? What if we applied mint numbers to legendary airdrop cards, max cards starting with Rebellion, retroactively go back and apply mint numbers to only these cards, give them their own shaky, like a pack opening. Okay. The pre-land 2.0 is just we have legendary airdrops. Okay, you, After Sound, already explained how the natural resources could make a consumable card called Scarecrow. Another place is just a Rebellion frame. That would also be made of natural resources plus a magic element, meaning a Rebellion frame would be color-specific element. I mean, again, I'm open to anything land can do. So, for example, if you want to play Kitty, you would have to provide Heliostones. Okay, these two crafting consumables could be part of the Mana Well. Next phase is skins. Um, okay, so feature airdrop. Let's see. To get a gold foil version requires a gold foil potions. I explained various. Okay, so to get a gold foil version of the skin. So let's say I'm going for a gold foil legendary max. There's 4 types of mint numbers. Sorry, I'm skimming through this. To add to this, you can make it so that wagons that are succumbing to magical would rot after 1 year time, losing 10% of their power or per month or season, and wood plots would have refinement building. I mean, I'm in for all of this, right? Like, you've clearly thought this through, so shout out to you, Erroneous. I mean, you're thinking through the game design of this. I would love for you to present that to the team. I think I've seen you talk about this in Discord as well, which is fantastic. But again, I'm all for like integrating a lot of these different aspects, making it so that the game itself and the resources within the game, not just land, but DC and everything is much more dynamic. Yeah, I mean, outside of that, I agree with you. That being said, I don't know that you were refuting my thought in terms of like card value is meant to go down over time. Again, I don't know what the Venari Heatsmith, I don't know what the Venari Heatsmith of Untamed was. All right, maybe that barking spider or something. I don't know how you give that thing value. All right, Kitty's always going to have value, but there's like 90, like let's just go with the 80-20 rule. Like 80% of the cards are going to be bottom of the barrel. Like they're going to be fantastic, maybe niche cards for certain things, right? But at the end of the day, it's only like 20% that I think would go up over time as they become more scarce and desirable in the game. And while I like Modern being new cards only, there is an appeal of giving Wild its like basically giving Wild cards and older cards some impact, right? I don't know that you can like make an unlimited amount of Rebellion frames, but maybe you use like one a day or something like that. If you use it, then you use up your quota up. But again, I haven't thought through all this stuff. I'm just trying to throw ideas out there. All right, International Travel Channel, thank you so much for the comments here. Appreciate you. We are approaching. Oh, we're over 20 minutes already. Okay, I don't want to keep these too long. I'm getting at least within 13 days. Joffrey says Alluvium for the win. There's another one for Alluvium. All right, so let's just do a couple more. Garnolf says, I think we really need to do something for Wild format, as its current state is very unhealthy for the game economy, but I don't understand why 2 huge steps, 2,000 season fee and doubling SPS requirements, need to come in one step. My approach would be to do one of the changes, measure that in fact, maybe tweak it a little. I agree with you this. I agree with you actually 100%. I don't know why both of them were implemented. Matt has been very big on the whole, let's not do too much at once. Let's try something, tweak it, and then go back and see it. So I agree with that. I don't know. I'm trying to think back to the post, and I don't think that there was anything specific about why they were doing both at once. It just Matt felt that they were both necessary. I think the Wild Season permit would have been good enough, but if I'm guessing for him, right? If I had to guess why the SPS staking was implemented as well, it's because a lot of bots could still rent SPS. And so therefore, if you increase the rentals, right, increase the amount that's needed to rent, and they choose to, well, then that helps the SPS rental market. It gets a lot more SPS locked down for one thing or another. If it doesn't, for the people that do have a lot, right, all the whales in Wild, and I know this is probably going to sound like it's just helping out the whales, but, the people who have been stacking assets in Wild format, SPS namely, it becomes beneficial to them, right? Because it puts them higher up on the curve. Okay, so Joffrey says, bro, that dev should be fired, and Matt saying it was his fault. He's covering, obviously, I lost all trust in Matt and his team of crooks. Look, I don't know personally the team member who did that, so I'm just gonna not say anything, but I will defend the team, or at least the people that I know, in terms of saying like that they're crooks. If you lost all trust in Matt, I can understand that, right? Like here's what's interesting, and I talk about this all the time. I think Matt's brilliant. I think he's got a lot of great ideas, and I'm obviously like a believer, right? I'm here making content, continue to play the game and looking forward to the future. That being said, I don't think Matt's perfect, and I don't think that he would find that offensive. There's definitely mistakes that have been made. And what I love about Matt is that he's really honest with himself and the community about when those mistakes are made, and tries to rectify them. So, if you've lost it, I said this a while back. There's a difference between loss of trust and loss of confidence. Loss of trust, that to me is really aggressive because it's like, well, and I think that's where you're going because you're saying it's a team of crooks. But I would humbly, respectfully disagree with that. Loss of confidence, though, is something that I would be more kind of accepting of, even if I disagree with it. Because if it's a loss of confidence, it's like, well, his heart's in the right place, but either the game economy is just too shot, it's too oversupplied. The market's just not going to cooperate, yada yada yada, right? There's a lot of things that are just working against him, or he's just, his heart is in the right place, but maybe he's not making the right moves. So, yeah, look, I get it. You're frustrated. It's all good, Joffrey. At least you got Alluvium, right? That's a fun one, and Parallel. What if they had one of ones or hollows or signed autographs or animated? Oh wait, that's Parallel. I know Parallel is doing some really cool stuff. Although the Prime token is down too, so this is this is something to keep in mind for folks. This is alts are bleeding right now. It is not a good time for altcoins. And so I just want to make sure that we call that out there because it's not just Splinterlands. I mean, yeah, Splinterlands is setting new all-time lows, which is not fantastic, and we're definitely marching towards zero, but it has not been easy for altcoins across the board, right? Bitcoin is flirting with new all-time highs every couple of days, but everything else is just not doing well. All right, and you know what? I think we can go ahead and probably let's go ahead and cut this off here. I'll do your last comment here. What if you got lucky and pulled a legendary and you didn't need 10 more copies to max it? 400 copies for a max common is kind of ridiculous. Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. So let's go. I'll go ahead and end it here. It looks like there's a lot of other fantastic comments coming up, so we'll save those for tomorrow or the next day that I'm able to jump in. Like I said, I do appreciate you guys leaving comments here and appreciate the patience that you have with me. I will be traveling. I'm still traveling, and so therefore my schedule is a little wonky through the end of this week. I'll be back home later on. We'll just say this weekend. So I'm going to do my best to catch up as much as possible by then and keep the content flowing. But I feel like I've been able to give videos out every once in a while. I've been able to check in and see what's going on. Maybe I missed a couple things here or there, but thank you for everybody who's been trying to keep me updated on what's going on and for continuing to leave comments on these videos. I do plan to get to them. That being said, if I have some downtime, I may choose to start responding to some of the comments. In fact, I did recently to Christopher Charles, just because it was more timely. I saw it come in. I may choose to reply to some comments in text format. So it's like if I got some time and I can just respond via text, I might do that. And of course, obviously, then you'll see it there rather than having to come to a video. But if the comment makes more sense I should say, for a video, then I will do it that way so I can expand and elaborate and do all the fun kind of ranting that I do here. But that is all I have. Have an amazing rest of your day. I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.